Let me start with something simple but true. Nothing worth having ever comes easy. We live in a world that loves comfort, convenience, and shortcuts. But the truth is, the most meaningful journeys, the ones that change who we are the hardest. The road will test your patience, challenge your limits, and make you question whether it's all even worth it. And here's the secret most people won't tell you. That feeling of doubt, that's a sign you're on the right path. Because growth isn't comfortable, it's messy, it's full of moments where you feel lost, misunderstood, or behind everyone else. But those moments are not the end. They are shaping you into the kind of person who can handle the destination when you finally arrive. Every obstacle is not there to stop you, it's there to strengthen you. You see, life doesn't give you what you wish for, it gives you what you're willing to fight for. So when it gets hard, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Keep showing up. Keep doing the work, one step at a time. The road will be tough, but when you arrive, when you've walked through the storms and earned it, you won't just reach your destination, you'll own it. Let me tell you something about hard paths. They're not glamorous, they're not shiny, they're not what we usually post on social media. They're lonely, they're confusing, they're full of late nights, early mornings, self-doubt, and the quiet question that echoes when no one else is around. Is this really going to work? But here's the truth. The hard paths are the ones that lead to the most meaningful destinations. You don't accidentally stumble onto fulfillment. You don't trip and fall into purpose. These things are earned. Earned through discipline, through sacrifice, through doing what's right instead of what's easy. Anyone can take the shortcut. Anyone can settle for what's immediately in front of them. But those who are willing to go deeper, to walk the long, winding road filled with uncertainty, those are the ones who discover something greater than success. They find significance. Think about the people you admire most. The ones whose stories inspire you. Did any of them have an easy road? Did they coast through life untouched by resistance, untouched by pain? Of course not. The reason their stories move you is because they overcame. They endured, they kept going when it would have been easier to quit. Their path was hard, but that's what gave their destination value. Without the struggle, the arrival wouldn't matter. Without the mountain, the view isn't worth anything. When you're on a hard road, it's tempting to think you're doing something wrong. That maybe if it were meant to be, it would be easier. But I want to challenge that idea. What if the difficulty is the very thing that proves it is meant to be? What if the resistance you're feeling is actually life asking you, how badly do you want it? Because it's not just about getting there, it's about who you become on the way. You see, the process is the point. The growth happens in the friction, not in the comfort. The skills, the strength, the resilience. All of that is built when things are hard, when you have to adapt, when you have to push through. The hard path forces you to level up. It demands your attention, your intention. It exposes your weaknesses and invites you to turn them into strengths. And maybe you're thinking, but I'm tired. I've been on this road for a while and I'm not seeing results. That's real. I hear that, but let me ask you, what if you're closer than you think? What if this stretch, this difficult season, is the final test before the breakthrough? The road gets roughest just before the peak. That's when most people give up. That's when people convince themselves it's not worth it. But that's also when the ones who make it decide to keep going, not because it's easy, not because they feel confident every step of the way, but because they've made a decision. I'm not going back. I'm not giving in to the lie that says I should have already arrived. Because when you stick with the hard path, when you keep showing up even when it's painful, you're not just moving forward. You're building something in yourself that no one can take away. You're becoming capable. You're becoming grounded. You're becoming someone who can handle the destination when it finally arrives. See, that's the thing. You don't want a destination you're not ready for. That kind of success collapses under its own weight. You want to arrive knowing that you built this, you carried it, you stayed in the game when others walked away. And when you finally get there, and you will, you won't have to ask if you deserve it. You'll know because you earned it. Discomfort. Let's talk about it. Not the kind that comes from a bad chair or a cold room, but the deeper kind. The kind that creeps in when you step outside the safety of what you know. The kind that shows up when you're doing something new, something uncertain, something that matters. That discomfort, It's not a red flag. It's a signpost, a signal that you're growing. We've been conditioned to avoid discomfort. We're taught to chase happiness, ease, efficiency. Whatever makes life smoother, but ease is not the same as progress. In fact, in many cases, ease is the enemy of growth. You grow when you're stretched, when things feel unfamiliar, when you don't have all the answers and have to figure it out anyway. That's where the magic happens, not when you're comfortable, but when you're on edge, figuring out how to take the next step in a space that scares you just a little. Think about any skill you've ever developed. The first time you tried it, you probably weren't very good. Maybe you were awkward, maybe you stumbled, maybe you failed outright. That's normal, that's human. But somewhere along the line, you decided to push through that discomfort. You kept showing up, and slowly the unfamiliar became familiar. That stretch turned into strength. That tension turned into transformation. Growth is always accompanied by resistance. You can't separate the two. It's like going to the gym. You don't build muscle by lifting what's easy. You build it by choosing resistance. The same principle applies to your character, your mindset, your dreams. If you're trying to do something meaningful, something that stretches beyond what you've done before, then expect the process to be uncomfortable. It should be, because you're reaching into the unknown, and that always comes with growing pains. We don't talk enough about the fact that purpose doesn't always feel good. In fact, it often feels confusing, exhausting, and lonely. But just because something is hard doesn't mean it's wrong. And just because something is uncomfortable doesn't mean you're failing. It might just mean you're evolving. The discomfort is a signal that you're out of your old framework. You've left the safety of what's predictable, and now you're doing the real work. There's this moment, right before something clicks, when you feel the most lost. Like you're walking in the dark without a map, and it's in that moment that most people turn back. They retreat to what's familiar, what's comfortable, what they know they can do. But the ones who keep walking, even when it's dark, even when they don't know exactly where the path leads, those are the ones who discover something new. They push through the discomfort long enough to find their next level. So if you're in that place, if you're unsure, if it's messy, if it feels like you're fumbling your way forward, I want you to know that's not weakness, that's not failure, that's growth in progress, that's what it looks like. It's supposed to be uncomfortable because you are not who you used to be. You're becoming someone different, someone more aligned, someone more capable of holding the weight of the future you're building. And I'll be honest, it's not going to get easier overnight, but you will get stronger. You'll get more resilient. You'll learn how to move through discomfort instead of avoiding it. You'll stop seeing it as something to escape and start seeing it as something to embrace. Because every time you face it head on, you prove to yourself that you can. You stop fearing the edge of your comfort zone because you've been there before, and you came back better. So if it's uncomfortable right now, good. That's a good sign. That means you're doing something real. That means you're stepping forward. That means you're in the middle of something worth fighting for. Keep going. Don't pull back. Don't shut down. Lean in, because discomfort is not the enemy. It's the invitation. Doubt. It's that voice in your head that asks, are you sure you're on the right track? Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're not cut out for this after all. It's that quiet whisper that tries to convince you that you're not ready, that you're not enough. And let's be real, it can be deafening at times, can't it? You push forward, and the doubt follows. But what if I told you that doubt isn't the enemy? What if it's actually a sign that you're on the right path? It's easy to think that the confident people you admire never doubt themselves. It's easy to look at someone who's achieved something incredible and assume that they never questioned their worth or their ability. But here's the truth, doubt is part of the process, it's part of the journey. In fact, it's almost a prerequisite for success. When you're doing something meaningful, something that challenges you, doubt is inevitable. It's a natural response to stepping into the unknown. Doubt is the mind's way of checking whether you're serious. It wants to know, are you committed enough to face this uncertainty? Because here's the thing, If your dreams didn't scare you, if they didn't make you question your capacity, they probably wouldn't be worth chasing. It's only when you aim for something big, something outside your comfort zone, that doubt rears its head. And that's exactly where you need to be. You need to be in that place where you're being stretched to the point of uncertainty, because that's where real growth happens. Think about all the great achievements in history, the ones that changed the course of lives, industries, even nations. The people behind those achievements didn't start with certainty. They started with doubt. They started with fear. They started with the same feelings you're experiencing now. But they didn't let doubt stop them. They used it, they acknowledged it, and then they moved through it. You see, doubt is not a signal to quit. It's a signal to lean in. It's a sign that you're doing something that matters, something that will push you beyond who you are today. Think about how much more meaningful it is to accomplish something you once doubted yourself capable of. Imagine how much stronger and more confident you'll feel when you look back and realize that the moments you thought were your breaking points were actually your breakthrough moments. Doubt doesn't mean you're not on the right track. It just means you're pushing yourself to be more than you are today. So, when doubt starts to creep in, don't retreat. Don't shy away from it. Use it as fuel. It's reminding you that you're in the arena, you're in the game, and those who succeed don't do so by avoiding doubt. They succeed by facing it, by accepting it as part of the process, and then choosing to keep going anyway. It's easy to doubt when things aren't going according to plan, when the progress feels slow, when the results aren't immediate. We live in a world that thrives on instant gratification, but let's be honest, real success doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow build. It's a steady, consistent effort over time, and that's where doubt loves to show up. When you're in the grind, when it feels like no one is noticing, when you start wondering, is this even working? That's when the voice of doubt gets the loudest. But here's the truth about that voice. It's not telling you to stop, it's testing you to see if you'll keep going. Doubt challenges you to show up every day, to continue even when you're unsure, to keep moving even when it feels like you're not getting closer to your goal. The people who make it, the ones who reach that destination they've been fighting for, they're the ones who didn't let doubt defeat them. They recognized it, acknowledged it, and decided that their purpose was stronger than their fear. When you look back, you'll realize that those moments of doubt weren't the times you were weakest. They were the times you were the strongest. They were the times when you decided that even though you didn't have all the answers, you were going to keep moving forward anyway. You were going to trust in the process, trust in yourself, and trust that the destination was worth the uncertainty. So, the next time doubt shows up, and it will, welcome it, see it for what it is, a sign that you're stretching, growing, and moving towards something meaningful. Don't let it stop you, let it propel you forward, keep going. Let's talk about obstacles for a moment. The word itself can sound intimidating, can't it? It carries with it images of walls, barriers, things that stand in your way, trying to stop you from moving forward. But what if I told you that obstacles are not your enemies? In fact, they're one of your greatest allies in the journey towards success. Because it's not the obstacles that hold you back, it's how you respond to them that determines everything. When you encounter an obstacle, your first instinct might be to ask, why me? Why is this happening now? Why is this roadblock in my way? It's easy to fall into frustration, to feel like the universe is conspiring against you. But I want to challenge you to flip that mindset. Instead of asking why me, ask what can I learn from this? Every obstacle you face, no matter how big or small, is an opportunity for growth. Think about the last time you encountered a real challenge. Maybe it was a project that didn't go as planned, a goal you didn't hit, a relationship that strained under pressure. In that moment, it probably felt like everything was falling apart. But what happened next? If you were able to keep moving forward, if you didn't give up, chances are you learned something valuable in the process. Maybe you learned how to be more patient, how to solve problems in creative ways, how to ask for help when you need it, or how to keep a positive mindset in the face of adversity. Obstacles teach us resilience. They force us to adapt, to get creative, to find new solutions. They help us discover strengths we didn't know we had. And the truth is, you can't get stronger without resistance. Think about physical strength for a moment. When you lift weights, you're essentially forcing your muscles to overcome resistance. That resistance breaks them down, and as they rebuild, they grow stronger. The same principle applies to your character, your determination, and your capacity to achieve your goals. It's the obstacles you face along the way that make you stronger. They help you develop the resilience and the mental toughness to handle whatever comes next. But here's the catch. It's not just about surviving the obstacles. It's about embracing them. It's about choosing to see each challenge as an opportunity to build something stronger within yourself. You might be tempted to think, I just want this to be easy. I just want things to fall into place without all these setbacks. And I get it. But the truth is, the more you try to avoid the obstacles, the less you're going to grow. The harder you fight against them, the more they'll seem to hold you back. But if you shift your perspective, if you start to welcome them as a natural part of the journey, you'll find that you're more equipped to handle anything that comes your way. Think about the people you admire most. Do you really think they got to where they are without facing obstacles? Of course not. Every success story is built on a foundation of struggle. The difference is that those people didn't see the obstacles as something to avoid. They saw them as something to overcome. They didn't allow the tough moments to define them or stop them. They allowed those moments to shape them into the people they became. And here's the most important part. The obstacles you face aren't random. They're not just obstacles for the sake of obstacles. They're part of a bigger picture. Each one is preparing you for what comes next. It might not make sense in the moment, but when you look back, you'll see that each challenge you've faced has been a stepping stone to something greater. The obstacles you face today are preparing you for the success that's waiting for you in the future. They're shaping you into the person who will not only be able to handle that success, but who will be able to thrive in it. So when the next obstacle shows up, and it will, don't panic, don't retreat, don't let it defeat you, instead lean into it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this challenge to grow? How can I become stronger, smarter, more resilient through this process? Because the truth is, obstacles are not here to stop you. They're here to strengthen you. They're here to build the muscle you need to carry your dreams to fruition. And remember, every time you overcome an obstacle, you build not only your strength, but also your confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought possible. And each victory, no matter how small, brings you one step closer to the destination you're striving for. So when the road gets tough and the obstacles seem endless, remember this, they are not barriers. They are bridges to your growth, your success, and the person you are becoming along the way. Let me be clear about something that I think we all know deep down. Effort is what separates the dreamers from the doers. We can wish for success. We can wish for growth. We can wish for a better future, but wishing alone won't get us there. We live in a world that's obsessed with quick fixes, instant results, and fast rewards. We want things to happen overnight, and when they don't, we get frustrated. But the truth is, success isn't about what you wish for. It's about what you're willing to work for. I know that sounds obvious, but I want you to really think about it. It's not the people who wish the hardest that succeed. It's the people who show up every day, who put in the hours, who do the work even when it's inconvenient, when they're tired, when no one's watching. It's those people who make the impossible seem possible, and here's the kicker, they're not special. They're not superheroes. They're just people who made a decision that their effort would define their future, not their circumstances, not their luck, not their timing. Effort is what makes the difference. Look, I get it. We live in a world that promises shortcuts. We see the success stories of others, whether it's on social media, on TV, or in the news, and we assume they had it easy. We see the highlight reels of people's lives, their success, their seemingly perfect moments, and we think, why not me? Why don't I have that? But here's the truth that no one talks about. Success is built on unseen behind-the-scenes effort. It's the hours of practice, the sleepless nights, the countless mistakes made and lessons learned, the rejections, the failures, the times when you wanted to quit but didn't. Those are the moments that shape success. The road is long, it's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's the work, the consistent, relentless effort that gets you to where you want to go. It's not the bursts of inspiration or the great ideas that get you there. It's the quiet, everyday persistence. It's about doing the work when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up when it's hard, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when the results aren't there yet. And I can promise you they will not be there at first. In fact, they may never be there as quickly as you want them to. But that doesn't mean the effort isn't worth it. It's the effort that's laying the foundation for the future you're building. This is where so many people get stuck. They start with excitement, they start with passion, but when things don't happen quickly, when the rewards don't come immediately, they start to doubt the process. They start to think that maybe they aren't cut out for it, or maybe they're just not lucky enough to succeed. But here's the thing, effort doesn't have a timeline. Success isn't a race, it's a journey. The key isn't about how quickly you get there, it's about whether you keep showing up. And let me tell you something, those who keep showing up are the ones who win. When you choose to put in the effort, even when the world tells you it's not working, you're making a commitment. You're telling yourself that your dreams are worth the time, worth the struggle, worth the sweat. You're choosing to believe that your effort will pay off, even when the evidence isn't there yet. And here's the thing, that commitment is what will eventually make the impossible look easy. That's how people go from struggling to succeeding, from wishing to doing, from dreaming to achieving. Effort is also about understanding that you don't always know the exact path. You don't always know when things will click. You don't always know when your big break will come, when your hard work will start to pay off, but that's not the point. The point is that you trust in the process. You trust that every step, every piece of effort you put in is leading you somewhere. Even when it doesn't feel like it, every ounce of energy, every hour of practice, every moment of perseverance is building something. Building skills, building character, building resilience, and building the future you want. In fact, you could say that effort is the real currency of success. It's what pays the price for your dreams, and the more effort you're willing to invest, the more likely you are to succeed. But it's not just about putting in the work, it's about doing it consistently, day after day, even when the finish line feels far away. It's about having the discipline to continue, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Because the truth is, motivation fades, but effort doesn't. Effort is what sustains you when the excitement wears off. It's what carries you through the tough times, the long days, and the moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. So if you're feeling discouraged right now, if you're looking at where you are and wondering if it's even worth it, let me remind you it is. Your effort will get you there. The work you're doing today, the sacrifices you're making, the hours you're putting in, they're all leading to something greater. The question is not whether you'll reach your goal. It's whether you'll commit to the effort, even when it's tough. And I promise you, if you do, it will be worth it. Let's talk about one of the hardest truths you'll ever have to face. It's not always going to go as planned. In fact, things rarely go exactly as we envision them. We set goals, we have a vision, and we work tirelessly toward making it happen. But somewhere along the way, life throws us a curveball. The plan doesn't unfold like we expected. It's in those moments that many people give up, convinced that the failure is final. But let me tell you something, failure is never final unless you choose to make it so. Failure isn't the end of the road, it's just a moment, it's a pit stop, it's a lesson disguised as a setback. The real question is not if you fail, it's how you respond to failure. Will you use it as an excuse to stop, to turn around, to abandon your goals? Or will you use it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to keep moving forward? Think about any significant success you admire. Whether it's an artist, an entrepreneur, an athlete, or someone who achieved something extraordinary, I can almost guarantee that they didn't get there without facing failure. They didn't get there by always succeeding right out of the gate. They stumbled, they fell, they faced obstacles, and they experienced rejection. They probably felt like giving up at some point, but they didn't. They kept going, and that's the difference. Failure is something we often fear, something we try to avoid at all costs. We want to be seen as successful, to avoid looking foolish, to protect our pride. But here's the thing, failure is inevitable. It's going to happen. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to face setbacks. And that's not only okay, it's essential. It's part of the process. It's the soil from which success grows. Every time you fail, you learn something. You refine your approach. You build resilience. You figure out what works and what doesn't. And you adjust your course accordingly. The problem is that we often view failure in a very limited way. We see it as a judgment of our abilities or as proof that we're not cut out for something. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Failure is not a reflection of who you are as a person. It's just feedback on what you've done. It's information. It tells you where to improve, where to pivot, and how to get better. But only if you choose to learn from it. When you allow failure to be a part of your journey, when you let it teach you instead of defeat you, you become unstoppable. The key is to shift your mindset. Instead of dreading failure, instead of fearing it, you need to start embracing it. You need to see failure as the gift it truly is, because without it, you wouldn't have the depth of experience or the wisdom that success requires. But that mindset shift isn't easy. It takes courage to fail and get back up. It takes persistence to look at the mess you've made and say, "That didn't work, but I'm not done yet." But when you do that, when you learn to get comfortable with failure, when you choose to continue despite it, you build something far more valuable than any success you can achieve in a straight line. You build grit, you build determination, you build a confidence that comes not from avoiding mistakes, but from knowing that no matter what happens, you have the ability to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep improving. Here's the reality. Success is often born in the ashes of failure. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep failing and getting back up. They understand that the road to success is not a straight line. It's a winding path with bumps, turns, detours, and yes, a fair share of failures. But each failure brings them closer to their goal because each one teaches them something new. And over time, those lessons compound. The more failures you face, the more knowledge you gain, the more resilient you become, the more unstoppable you are. And when you finally reach the place you've been striving for, the place where you can look back and see the journey in its entirety, you won't just see the successes. You'll see the failures too, and you'll realize that the failures were not just a part of the journey. They were the foundation of it. They were the moments that shaped you, strengthened you, and propelled you forward. So, if you're struggling right now, if you've faced a setback or a failure that feels like the end, I want you to remember this. It's not the failure that defines you. It's what you do next. Will you let it stop you, or will you use it as a stepping stone? The destination is still within reach, and you're going to get there not by avoiding failure, but by embracing it, learning from it, and continuing despite it.